Audi Q7 since 2015. Hello everyone! Despite the attractive price of the basic modification with the customer for such a Q7 is not endowment with us. Indeed, for a two-ton crossover with a 2-liter engine, even about 252 horses, it is not enough. Yes, and it does not shine with reliability. During the entire production period, the engine was repeatedly upgraded, but it wasn't possible to completely get rid of various sources. It still continues to consume engine oil abundantly, albeit not in such large volumes as before, stretches the timing chains and needs periodic cleaning of the EGR valve. And constant work at full strength does not add a resource to a razor-weak motor for a 2-ton engine. The V-shaped 3-liter 6 with a turbocharger and a mechanical supercharger is quite another matter. It has an arc torque of 440 Nm throughout the entire rev range, and confident pickup is possible from the very bottom. True, the V6, which is complex in design, prefers high-quality oil and fuel, qualified and regular service. If all these conditions are met, then the first problems will appear only by 120,000 to 150,000 km. By this time, injection nozzles will declare themselves. As a rule, the top end begins to get wet and sweat, although it will last for another 30,000 to 60,000 km. The EGR valve also becomes unusable, and the entire system will already need to be cleaned. The timing chain can stretch ahead of its due date of 200,000 km. To replace, you have to remove or hang out the engine. At risk of engine mounts, water pump, individual ignition coils. The compressor usually lasts longer than the turbine. The first symptoms of fatigue in the form of oil drops on the housing will appear only by 250,000 km. The best choice against this background, the 3-liter diesel 6 is just a model of reliability. For a decade and a half of conveyor life, she managed to recover from childhood illnesses. True, the first owners had to face some problems such as defective camshafts. However, they were replaced free of charge under warranty. However, since 2018, modified shafts have been installed and the problem has been solved. The rest of the motor is fluorless. If you feed it with high-quality fuel and oil, a diesel engine can run 500,000 to 700,000 km and even more. True, during this time you will have to change the glow plugs, injection nozzles and the booster fuel pump. If you take care of the automatic just as carefully, it will easily live up to 300,000 to 400,000 km. The ZF gearbox is very reliable, and an oil change every 60,000 to 80,000 km is considered the key to its longevity. In addition, if the mechanical part of the automatic transmission is generally trouble-free, then the control electronics often fool around. Shocks and jerks when shifting gears are usually leveled by the firmware of the control unit software. Moreover, all manipulations with electronics are performed by the officials for free. Just keep in mind, if the first owner chipped his engine, the life of the box can be significantly reduced. After all, the automatic is designed for a certain torque, and an outright increase in performance can lead to accelerated wear of the box. As for the 4x4 transmission, the Q7 now uses permanent all-wheel drive with a transfer case integrated into the automatic transmission case and self-locking differential that distributes torque in a ratio of 40:60 in favor of the rear axle, and so far no question have arisen with it. Most likely it will not arise, judging by the predecessor, where there were no problems with 4x4. By the way, the durability of the transmission on the Q7 now directly depends on the frequency of changing the oil in the machine. But the durability of the charge depends on the driving style and the quality of the road surface. To date, the owners have changed only the stabilizer struts and bushings. Rare cars have traveled more than 100,000 km during the time. However, the design of the suspension on the second Q7 has changed, and the levers are made of aluminum alloy. Therefore, when replacing one cylinder box and ball bearings, they will have to be updated along with the levers. Recall that expensive versions of the crossover are found with a fully controlled charge and air suspension, and such technical delicacies in the future may require considerable cost. For example, the electromechanical steering rack has been repeatedly changed under warranty. Therefore, specialized workshops are working with might and main on the repair version of the rail. Advanced technologies have also changed the body of the Q7. It consists of even more light alloys than its predecessor. For example, all doors and front feeders are aluminum. You know, there is nothing to rust here. Therefore, traces of corrosion on the body of the car mean poor quality repairs after an accident. De-icing reignite still leave their marks on chrome elements. After 2 to 3 winters, the coating may become cloudy and swell. Sometimes drawers suck. But most of all gets electrical equipment. The 5th drawer lock and power window, the MMI multimedia system, the keyless entry and start-stop system are periodically buggy. This synchronization of climate control temperature zones is often disturbed. The engine and gearbox electronics fail. As a rule, defects disappear after restarting the engine or removing the terminals from the battery. And dealers also treat them by flashing electronic control units. Those a used Q7 can be recommended for repairs. But to minimize the risk, we advise you to look for a well-groomed modification with a turbo diesel. At the same time, it is not superfluous to make a complete diagnostic of the machine up to electrical equipment. If you have heard such a motor, share information about what and how it breaks in the comments.